Hi, everyone. Carmen Disco here, UIA TV on the Launch Network. We got a lot of cool stuff happening this time of year, a lot of events, a lot of shows, a lot of things going on. One of my favorite things to talk about, obviously, is toys. Toys for Christmas, toys for the holidays, toys as gifts. But what a lot of people and some people don't know is we have a cool event happening up in New York. I have the man himself that runs a piece of this that you might be interested in, all you inventors and product developers, Mr. Brett Klisch. Hey, Brett, how's it going, man?
Doing great, Carmine. Thank you for.
Oh, man, this is going to be great. You know, I'm so happy to grab you on here because I know that this event is coming up soon. So we're going to push this out, let people learn about
Very
this.
soon.
Yeah. But before we get into the event, man, what you do at your business, at your company is so interesting to me because you're the president, creative director, I guess, Peru Meridian Studios. And
Yes.
First, how'd you come up with this name for this company?
Back in the mid 90s, a friend and I were coming back from a comic book convention, and I don't think we were kind of in the right mind. And we literally just came up throwing names around, and it happened, and it stuck, probably like 95, 96. And we were in college, and it's a weird name that we went with, and it stuck. It's weird. And I know I'm 6'3". I'm not Peruvian.
That's about
at all.
My next question.
Yeah, no. Meridian is from the geography, like that word, and he liked Peruvian. So we came up with it. It just was his happenstance. It means nothing, but
Wow.
remember it. So it works. It's stuck for God, almost over a quarter century now.
Wow, that's awesome. You know,
Yeah.
Those are sometimes the best names. A lot of times I get musicians on. We've done a lot of that stuff. And I always ask them, like, what was the name of your first band? And it was just always some crazy name, you know? So listen, man, what you guys do is super interesting. Toys. A lot of toy inventors out there, a lot of people out there that have ideas for toys. Some think it's super easy. I'm just going to develop this toy and it's going to go out and it's going to be a big hit. But what you guys do there, I mean, is really make toys for the industry. And, you know, why don't you tell a little bit about what you do there? And I don't want to get into the toy fair.
Okay, we're a product development firm. It's a team of artists, engineers, three-dimensional artists. You know, we usually work digital now. So we have 3D sculptors, two-dimensional artists, two-dimensional illustrators that design everything. Then it goes to 3D sculpting, and then the engineering staff takes over. We engineer it, and then we send it over. We're usually working for clients, a lot of small companies. I love working with startups because you're working with the whole company instead of being a small cog in a big monster thing. You know, you get to work over the whole product life cycle, from napkin sketch all the way to the product coming off the line in China. So on the small companies, we do the manufacturing. So we will send it over to my office in Hong Kong, and they will manage the manufacturing in China, which past 2 years has been invaluable because to go over there, you got a 1 month quarantine, which you sit in a hotel room and you're not allowed out. So my ally over there, Charles Buzon, has done that a couple times, and I don't know how he pulled it off.
Wow.
They bring you food and clean clothes and clean linens once a day, and you can't leave.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh my God.
I'm fine doing Zooming with the office over and the factory. So I stay here.
That's awesome. What are the, and it's hard for me to figure because when I think of toys, there's just such a broad category. Is there some specific?
It's a broad category. You have things, you know, from basic dolls, you know, so you're right there. That's a girl style, to young kids products, preschool, infant products, to collectible action figures and toys. Then there's ride-on vehicles, swing sets. I'm looking around the thing. I've got a 3-foot Darth Vader over there. I've got all kinds of plush dolls over there. I got an R2D2. I've got play swings over there, and we're surrounded in 3D printers. Everything's done digitally now.
Yeah.
So yeah, toys is a broad, and we don't just do toys. We also do some consumer products. Like we do a lot of stuff for the tech industry, from computer mice, cell phone cases, peripherals for computers and home audio. Things like these. We'll design the actual physical working, and we'll send it over to the factory where they do the engineering of the sound quality and all the electronics, because that's designing sound is not.
Yeah.
That we're not qualified for that. We look pretty and we engineer it right. You know how to get it through the manufacturing process.
Well, that's a huge part. I mean, you're dealing, like you said, most directly with the inventor or the person that's looking to make something done. Are there different the differences from when you first started, which, like you said, was years ago, up until now?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it must be extraordinary.
Well, I came through this as a sculptor. My start was into the entertainment world, working with from Disney Imagineering. And then I came back into New York to work in film and theater, building sets, doing special effects, making things with my hands, building things. And one of the things people in that industry did on the side, because it's a freelance world, was sculpting toys like these Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons from Kiss. Those were hand sculpted. Those are made out of wax, where we'd sit there and carve them. And those are finished pieces. But I got an example of something from 2002. Wow. If I can get it in focus, that's not gonna work. But it's a G.I. Joe action figure. So now we will do that entirely in ZBrush digitally. But I actually have one still that hasn't gotten destroyed. That's an actual wax figure that we molded and casted, and they get destroyed when they come out of the mold. So rare. There's not many actual you'll have resin prototypes after we make castings, but the original wax sculptures are very, very rare, especially when that's small and teeny. Because we rip out the mold, it just shattered, and then garbage. So we did that 20 years ago, I'd say. And that was one of the first projects where we did the body, all the organic work digitally, and the mechanical work. We did all the organic work, we sculpted it, and the mechanical work, like the weaponry, all the accessories, the hard edge stuff, we did in an AutoCAD project, and we 3D printed. And that was the very first project. We combined sculpting and digital into one final piece. Hasbro wasn't very happy with that because they weren't on board with that yet. I had to talk them into it, but the finished result worked great. And now they're fully 3D, fully digital. Everyone is digital. I have very few friends that sculpt, and that's more in the collectible statue area. There's some people out there that are just phenomenal hand sculptors that are still doing great work in that arena.
But in the performance of the new market, I mean, obviously you have to move away from that, but that's amazing, the time consuming, and then you bring it over obviously to manufacturing. Who would have thought? Yeah. But you were, and just to get all set, you were very smart to keep one of those. I mean, you knew it was going to be.
It was found years later in a box, and I just it just took my breath away. That I saw, I was like, oh God, that brings back memories, because they just don't survive. So I didn't know I kept it, and then I found it and put it back together as well as I could, and put it in the package so it can be kept safely.
It's amazing.
Destroyed just as a keep. That's a historical piece. We'll probably give it to the Toy Museum at one point in time.
That's a great idea. So you may be a little like me when you go somewhere or you're meeting new people and they say, and I always shudder sometimes when they say this, so what do you do for a living? And sometimes I'm a little shy to say, oh, I produce products or I help inventors, because everyone has a product idea. Everyone has an invention.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just on the phone with one of your board members reviewing about 2 hours worth of products last night. And it's had some good ones, some really good ones, but there's a lot of chaff to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you do an open call, you don't know what you're going to get. And Yeah, some are very professionally done. We were just one of them that I thought was professionally done. And some were done with an iPhone. And truthfully, we saw a couple that were literally just someone holding an iPhone and someone talking, but the product was good. As long as I could see it, it's great. So yeah, there's it's a lot of hours, and we get nothing like a Hasbro or Mattel, who they tell me they get thousands, so they say it's exhausting.
Wow.
They have to go through, but they go through them because you never know when you're going to find that diamond in the rough. Usually in the place you don't think. It's going to be in that weird place. And the best things that happened in my career and in my life have always been in the weirdest, not thought out way. It just happens.
Yeah.
So,
but your mind catches on saying, wait a minute, that might be something, right?
Years of practice.
Yeah.
For more than a quarter century. After a while, you're walking. When I go into a store, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, that's selling. Oh, okay, that rack's full. That's not selling. That's going to fail. It's hard walking in a store or into an amusement park. And you're always judging, or you're always doing market research. Where you go to Disney World. And even though I'm not going to be buying anything for myself, I'm in the gift shops way too much with the wife pulling me out. And I'm literally going to say, I want to see what's selling. While I'm watching what people are buying. Yeah. So that's the best way to tell me, okay, this is the direction you want thinking.
Correct. So it kind of transitions into what you and I don't want to say suffer through, because we love this industry. But when new inventors are coming to us, it's a lot of times that I find we're really just doing educational work. We're just giving advice on what to do next. And hey, it's just not ready for this, or not ready. Is that something that the Toy Association and the Toy Fair and what you set up, the Creative Factory, is that some of the things that you guys are doing over there?
Creative Factor.
Oh, Factor.
Factory, yeah. Yeah, I was just talking about factory. Easy slip. To a degree. The Toy Association doesn't, this program within the Toy Association does it. And once a year, we're hoping to do this twice a year coming up, once all the COVID stuff settles down and we can actually meet face to face again. We take submissions. We have, and you'll post the link underneath this video, I'm sure. And people get to post their ideas. They need to include a video and a description, and they need to fill out a form with a lot of questions, easy from name, address, email, to, do you have any intellectual property protection, copyright, trademark, patent? Have you done, and if they don't, have you even done a search, a patent search? Like, look, have you studied the market? Because I would say 25% of the things we see are already done. And we cannot accept something that's infringing on someone else's patent or other intellectual property rights, because we would get in trouble, or we just look bad, or it would be a waste of time for them to be in. And we'll tell them, it's like, no, this exists. And that happens a lot. And it happens a lot to us here. We, I'm sure other people in the room are going to hear this and laugh. We came up with a game with where you make little bugs out of Play-Doh and you put them around a board. And when you hit a certain thing, you take a hammer and you hit it, and the hammer has the indentations of the word splat. And we're like, this is really cool. This is really fun. So then we do our Google search, and it came out in the 80s, and it was almost identical. We don't remember seeing it, but good chance we saw it.
Sure. 30 when we were kids, and it just resonated in our minds. We didn't remember it, but we subconsciously designed it. Before so we were just at the drawing page, and then we found it. So it's like, okay, well, that one's done. Yeah. So people need to do their research. And now with Google, just going through companies, that have that kind of category that you're designing for, to look at it and just make sure it doesn't exist. We get we just got all kinds of stuff for Play-Doh that it's like they're doing derivations on something that already exists, and they're just not going to want it. So
before spending a lot of money prototyping and designing and mortgaging the house. Don't do that. Do your research. Professional patent search person. We can put contacts to a really good one down below if you want. And that's worth its weight in gold. It will stop wasting your time. Or for people like us who know how to read patents and have done it a lot of time, we can go through it and go, okay, this is covered, this is covered, and this is covered, but this over here isn't. So we redesign it so we're not infringing on these parts, but we got a changed product, but we're now safe from infringing, because it's a small world. It's bad form to infringe. You'll be in one, you get sued. And two, everyone in the industry knows each other, and it's just bad form. You will be found. You will be found out. It's just bad juju. You don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And so we tell people a lot. It's like, whether you knew or not, you're doing something that exists. You know, a lot of people are making, they're just reskinning Monopoly, Life, Candyland, Chutes and Ladders when they're doing board games a lot.
Wow.
So research.
You know, it's funny you say that, because, you know, here in almost every industry in the production, we get that a lot. The first thing an inventor says to me is, "There's nothing else like this out there," and and you know, and again, it's hard for me to believe that, because there's so much that has been invented that we haven't seen. It's been patented, it just hasn't been seen. So yeah, you probably get that almost all the time.
Oh yeah, there's things that are patented that never come out, but they're still protected. That patent will lapse in a couple of years, but if it's still valid, even if it didn't come out, you're infringing.
Yeah.
And yeah, we none of us have seen everything that comes out in market. Some stuff comes out regionally that might be in your part of the country.
Yeah, no doubt. Now you get a lot of, you know, and whenever I think of the toy industry, I think about, you know, kids having fun, but these are older men and women that have been inventing or designing toys. Usually
older, older
than kids.
Yeah.
But do you get people that really hit it on their first shots, or is it second or third? Because to me, toys are just fun, and you're inventing and you're having fun. And at first, you're not thinking about it being a business, or it could be an invention. You just maybe thought of an idea, or you created something for your kids, and then you said, "Hey, this is really catching on."
It happens. Yes, it does happen. It's rare. It's rare. Like even professional inventors, you're going to do 10 to get one considered, and that might not even go through. That should get considered. Amateurs, it is going to be 1 in a million that someone's going to come in and come up with something. I think bananagrams was started by that. You know, that came out of nowhere and just turned into a massive hit. So quite a few things. Yeah, it's worth trying. If you have something, it's worth trying. And a lot of times you'll get something and then you'll have to work it. You'll revise it, and you workshop it. You play it. You make a version of it. If it's for kids or for adults, and some card games are for adults. So we Cards Against Humanity is not a kid's product. So you get it, you let kids play it, you let adults play it, people that never seen it before, let them try it. Big companies have been doing this for years. When I was a kid, Mattel had an office in New Jersey where I grew up. And I remember me and my friend got pulled in to test drive toys when we were like 7 or 8. And I used friends, kids, friends of friends, family members, friends, people who've never, because us here in the studio, we design it, we're too close to it. So we're not, we think this is the next gift from God. So we got to give it to someone that we want, we don't go to our mothers because they're going to love it. You go to someone and say, please tell me the truth. What's bad with it? What's good? What's bad? But mostly what's bad about it? What's not working? And that's the best help. Or if something breaks, you're like, okay, we got to redesign it because it's fresh, whatnot. So test driving it does help.
Wow.
So next week for the holidays, I'll be bringing a few things to my in-laws' house for nephews to play.
I love
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
They're always like, where's Uncle Brett? He got the new stuff.
Yeah. Having good friends bring other kids in here. They come and go, "Look at all this. Why doesn't adults have all this?"
And then you're like going, but the best is you can't tell anybody about it. They must love that.
Well, a lot of it's prototype, so you can't touch it. So when a little like 4 or 5 years old, that their eyes just blow up. They're like, no, these are fragile.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
that's funny. I love it. So going back, so the toy fair and the creative factor, they're two separate things, kind of, but they're combined internally, right? In the
Oh no, the toy fair is the whole Javits Center in New York City. Toy fair. We're just a very, very small program. The creative factor is an educational event that people come in, and we have pros giving classes on like 3D modeling, engineering, sourcing and manufacturing. We have lawyers coming up talking about intellectual property rights, some stuff on businesses this year, NFTs, which I'm going to be attending those classes. I'm still kind of leery on what they even are. So that's the class part. The CF at TF is the inventor review session, to where the people that apply, the day before Toy Fair starts on Saturday, February 19th. On Friday morning, February 18th, 8 a.m., we're going to have a room where all the inventors that get accepted are going to be in there like a little trade show with pipe and drape walls. So we have a little 8x8 booth with a curtain that closes. So they'll be in there. And then all the inventor relations people from the different companies get to walk in, walk around, and go to each one. And everyone does their pitch, and they go walk in. These are the people that are the ones that buy it. They are the ones that will license it and make a contract. And we have had some successful ones.
I did not know that. That's amazing.
Since Toy Fair hasn't started, I can't say which ones.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We know which one definitely, but there were that I know were options.
Wow. So if there's somebody out there that's listening to this that has a toy idea, how far along do they have to be to go to this? Do they need to have a retail ready? Could it be prototype?
No. Prototype.
Oh.
I should have put a raw one right behind me, because these are all pretty finished prototypes that are sitting behind. They're all prototypes, but they're pretty well finished. Something that works. So we need a video that you have to send a video explaining it, and the shorter the better, and make it the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it like you should have to be able to sell it within the first to 20 seconds, like a commercial. Remember, commercials are only 30 seconds long, so you have to be able to convey what it is without a long, drawn-out explanation. I just shot a video for us to submit, and I showed it to some people I've never seen it before, and they get it in about 4 seconds. So I succeeded, because I showed it to people I didn't know about. So explaining it succinctly, as quick as possible before the viewer gets bored, because we see a lot and glaze over after a while. And we got a few of that with 3 minutes in, and we still don't know what it is. We don't want to go forward. We're like 3 minutes, like, ugh. So convey it as simple as possible. And to be accepted, you need a prototype. A board game can be markers on a piece of foam core, and you could find chess pieces as your pieces to move around. It doesn't have to be finished totally perfect. You can have things that represent it. 2 years ago, we had someone in, and he had a game that was a physical pig that things happened with, and he used a bleach bottle. It's a bleach bottle sideways making legs. It was my favorite prototype of the whole thing, because it was so inventive. Yes, we wouldn't manufacture it like that, but I looked at that and went, I get it immediately. I get it right away. And at that, 100 points for the creativity on the prototype. I don't know if that was picked up or not, but he sold me real quick. And that's a big thing, being succinct. Show it to people, show the video to people that don't know what it is. If you show people to people that if a person knows what it is, they will not be objective because they already know. You have to show it to a person that's never seen it before and say, do you get this? And how long does it take? And it's the simpler, the better.
Wow.
And yes, that the prototype you need it because it has to be demonstrable. If you have something like Monopoly, it has a lot of rules, but you don't have to describe Monopoly with telling every single rule. Oh yeah, what they call an elevator pitch. You do it really quick, and you go, "What's the general idea? What's the overall view of what this project is?" And that's what the pitch starts with. If you get us interested past 20 seconds, we'll stay with you. We'll go, "Okay, oh, that's cool. Let's find out, how the gameplay actually works at that time." But yeah, don't take it past 2 minutes. Keep it under 2 minutes if you can.
Yeah.
Well,
that is like super good advice.
This thing, how long does it take as a kid's toy? How long does it take to explain what that does? Everyone just understood what that does for a preschool.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So sometimes if you got something like that, that's what you need to do. Give me a 20-second video that sells me. Save this all time, and boom, you're in.
Yeah. Sometimes I recommend to some inventors, because this is super important. If they're too emotionally attached to it, get someone else that's not as emotionally attached. Let them teach, because the pitch, like you said, is so important. It's maybe a 1 in a million chance. And you have to be able, like you said, consistently be able to deliver that pitch without telling you why your grandmother tripped and you helped her. And, everyone.
Oh, we had one of them last night. Went on for about a minute. And we're like, okay, that's lovely, but not at the end, not at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, or do it in 2 seconds. Actually, I kind of just like when you're watching Shark Tank, I think the person that makes it does help because there is that emotional attachment, there is that excitement. They might need to do it professionally, but that does help the person that invents it or is related to it. Does the actual pitch. It doesn't have to be a commercial. This isn't it's a pitch, it's not a commercial.
Yeah.
Think Shark Tank, how people go up to there and say that first pitch really quick to get us succinctly. Shark Tank's a good example of how to make your presentation succinct.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good. That really helps. So yeah, that's
and we got a Shark Tank video last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, someone, hey sharks. And we're sitting there going, yeah, and it ended with what I'm looking for, and it just ended. And we're on Skype and all our different places, and it was like, that's a Shark Tank video.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh God! Wow, we're getting sloppy seconds.
It was our entry pitch. I love it.
Yeah, it was funny. The pitch was good, but you should have cut out hey sharks.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
we have a few minutes left. So are there any specific kinds of categories of toys that are happening right now, or do you think that have more of a chance in the future than others?
Games have been since COVID happened. When everyone was on lockdown, games that families can play skyrocketed and are still doing well. People have refound family games. Wow. So games that parents can play with their kids and with the whole family are still doing pretty well. Aside of that, it's pretty broad.
Yeah.
Said that the whole diamond in the rough concept, you never know what you're going to see. Where you're going to see a little nugget of something that can really blow up into a bigger. It's what you give is the inspiration to really make it something that happens quite a bit.
That I believe, and it's what's amazing to me is that toys have been around for eons, obviously, and there's still games that are being invented, and also toys. Is it the toys that are going to be the next big thing? Or sometimes do movies or TVs or things like that drive some of those toys, or is it usually just something out of the blue?
Well, branded product, something that's related to a movie or whatnot. You'll have things like these action figures will come out for a movie. Those are on the shelves for a few months and they're never out again.
Oh.
Things that are tied into something, they usually are not what we call evergreen. Things that are on the shelf forever. That doll, it's a doll. You know, a little girl or boy will have that doll. Will have that for until they grow out of it. Not that I say just give me another basic doll, because we got a lot of that. It's just like, it's another doll. What's unique? But if you tie something straight into an existing property, it's going to have a very short shelf life. And you need to have the foundation. Like, what is it? So you don't think about, you know, the haunted mansion above my head first as the driver, the play pattern, like what the person doing this, playing it, what is that action? What makes them want to do it? And what is that pattern to go from start to finish? Whether it's a game or a toy, how it evokes your imagination, how it evokes your creativity. Brands are usually slapped on top of that. So it has to have that core. It has to have that interactivity. For young kids, it has to have that heart, that X factor that makes it like, I want to play with this, you know, or something, you know, a kid squeezing something and wanting, you know, not wanting to give it up when they have to go to school, kind of thing. You know, that's a hard thing to do, because few product get that, but that's when you got something good.
Wow. It's so cool. It's funny because this is such a big topic in our office. We get a lot of people with games and game boards and things. And I keep getting more questions handed to me, but is there, we get, and I don't know if you see it, we get a lot of toys or games that are really complicated. And it's just like they've been building it and they wanted to do everything. Does it seem like complicated games or something that just does one specific thing is better or worse? Or, you know, what do you think about that?
It depends on the age demographic.
Oh,
kids, you got to keep it simple. Primary colors, primary functions. As you get older, you can make it more complex, but you can have it do a lot of things without being complex. Don't make it so it's not understandable. If you can do a high concept game. Yeah, you can really do a high concept game, but it's going to be a boutique. It's not going to be in every Target and Walmart in the country. That's going to be in boutique stores, and you're going to have a certain demographic, you know, like some that like college kids get because they want to really rack their brains. But your job, you're like, you know, an actor on theater and a film. When you're explaining the game, you have to tell a story. You have to get that story into their head about how to do this, what the play is. So you have to, you know, write it intelligently and cogently. So going overly complex, you know, it's decades of creating things. The KISS principle: keep it simple, stupid. Served me and most everyone I work with very well. We spend more times, and like a film editor, you know, they'll have hundreds of hours for a film, and the real art, you know, they always say a film is made in the editing room. Everything is fine art. You know, Michelangelo, David was taking stone away, adding to it. So you get all the chaff away, get all the excess stuff, and strip it down to the barest bones that you need to convey the story, the action, the way that you want it to be. Is some of the best ways. Because remember, when someone's in a store and they're going to buy something, if people ever go back to stores again, if things are on a shelf, when you're walking by, just think about how much time each product has as you're walking by it. You have a very short amount of time to be able to sell that. If they're not watching commercials, which, you know, there are not many commercials out anymore. You know, things are selling virally on the internet. So you got to catch an eye very fast. So you got to tell a very quick story to get someone to want to buy your products.
Yeah.
And if people don't understand it, they're not going to tell their friends. Word of mouth is a very big thing, especially selling games. Because you go over a friend's house, they want to play a game. You play it over their house, you go back home and go, oh, I want this for my house. So yeah, so learn how to tell your story.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I think, what you're doing at the Creative Factor. I know you've been doing it for a long time. You're really putting people on a stage to tell their story, and the story just the product just happens to be a part of the story. Yeah.
We have an artist on there telling about the process of that, what they're doing, and they're artists. Even engineers, there is an artistry of what they're doing. They're following rules to get to the final thing. Especially engineers, is about taking stuff away and making things work, making a house work.
Wow.
And not fall apart. A story is a building, just in metaphor. So you need a foundation before you can build on details.
Yeah.
You know, you always build the frame before you put on details.
Wow. Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to start wrapping up, and I want people who are listening to know that the application time is still open. When's it open till? January
5th. Then January 6th, we will be reviewing them and sending out responses ASAP, because the day is February 18th in New York City. So we want to make sure if people have to travel, they can make travel arrangements to get to New York City to be in that booth at 8 a.m. Actually, no, we got to get in at 6 a.m. to set up.
Yeah.
So we will be in that day. So everyone's all ready to pitch.
Super exciting though, be, going to New York, pitching your product to people who can basically, change your life if you have your idea. And, some of those people who you're just not sure, there's inventors out there, they're just not sure about their idea. They talk to their grandmother, their neighbor, their friends. Everybody told them it was great. But to go and pitch to people who really know, you might be able to say, hey, it's okay of an idea, turn it around, make it yellow, but at least give you real world advice to either move you along or, put it on the shelf and go to the next one.
Yeah. People, we will help people. If we see something good and we want to see that, dial this in, tweak this before the show, we are telling people, push this a little further, push that a little way, present it in this way, pull this out, put that in. We will definitely help them, because we want to see this. We're putting a lot of effort. We want to see people succeed. And a big thing is, we don't take anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take any equity. We don't take a share. So when they do their dealings with the companies, we're not in it. We don't take a part of their royalty. They get 100% of their royalty. If they need help while they're doing it, we'll help along. If they need an attorney to help them write the contract, we'll make recommendations. We will be there for support. But this is totally philanthropic.
Awesome.
They're not having to give the Toy Association any.
So amazing. And the people that are involved, you're not just fly by night guys. You guys have been doing this for years and years. The play people, the industry in and out.
My partner in it, Matt Nuccio, who's on your board of directors, was born into this world. His father had the company when he was a kid, and he was literally born into it. This is a lifelong thing for a lot of us.
No, so awesome. Well, Brett, I appreciate you coming on today. All you listeners out there, we're gonna supply the links, the information. Just remember the Toy Creative Factor. It is going to be at the Javits Center, and get your application in before or on January 5th, because that'll be the deadline. I appreciate you coming on today, giving a little bit about this toy history. What an insane industry. I love it so much. And who knew that it was this interesting? And you got to admit, Brett, we just scratched the surface, right?
Oh, yeah. If you haven't been to Toy Fair, a circus is an understatement. It's fun. It's an interesting cast of characters. It should have its own TV series. Really should.
That's awesome. That's a great idea. That might pop up one of these days. It's good to throw it out there, right?
Yeah. If anyone from Netflix is watching, you got my email.
There you go. No doubt. Very cool. Well, all you listeners
Great.
out there, we'll be pushing out this information. And if there's any questions, you can reach me, obviously, or you can get in touch with Brett at Peru Meridian Studios. I had to remember that.
Yes, well, we can put my URL in it and a contact info. So if there's any info, we can help along.
Yeah, we might as well. I'm sure there's going to be some people out there who want to do this.
Oh, yeah.
The toy industry is big. A lot of listeners right now going, I want to get my product out there, especially pushing it out in front of the right people. It's awesome. So
our pleasure to help.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Going to be good. All you listeners out there, thank you so much. Going out to Google Play, iTunes, please review, listen, subscribe, leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. And until we meet again, this is Carmen Danisco. Thank you so much for UIA TV and the Launch Network. And Brett, we thank you very much for giving us some time today, and we will talk to you soon. You all take care.
Thank you.